So let's get out of our own way now and actually make these videos. Actually do what we came out here to do. You know, it always feels a little bit weird. I'll probably make a video about that. Okay, so this video right here is for my people who are somewhat ambitious, right? You have your stuff in order. You know how to take care of yourself. You have high dreams and everything like that. However, your partner isn't on the same programming as you. And I actually want you to understand this very clearly. Your independence was never the problem. Your partner's insecurity was. You see, when you are a high frequency individual, when you bring a lot of attention, when you bring a lot of love, when you bring a lot of security into your life naturally, just by being yourself, people who are not operating at that frequency is naturally going to become a little bit jealous. They're going to become a little bit envious, right? Not because there's anything wrong with you or they don't like you. They don't like your stability. They don't like your ability to attract and manifest and, to receive, especially when it feels like you're doing it easier than they are. They're having to overexert themselves to achieve the bare little that you can do, right? That's going to get under people's skin. And when you're in a relationship with somebody who is very insecure, like, oh my God, what's the word I'm looking for? Insecure. There we go. When you're in a partnership with somebody who's insecure about their own finances and their own path, they're going to continuously be in a state of comparison. They're going to be looking at where they're standing and where you're standing. And if they are in a headspace of just understanding that you are a boss, and that you are a boss dude, you're a boss lady, boss queen, whatever, however, whoever's watching my video, you are a boss. Right? If they aren't going to, come to acceptance with that and understand that you are just being yourself and you may have your way in a lot of instances, that's going to get under their skin. They're not going to like that about you. They're not because they're not that secure within themselves. However, once you start getting into more interactions with people who actually value themselves, they don't view your success, they don't view your alignment, they don't view your connection to God as a threat. If anything, they view it as an opportunity to get closer to it themselves, because they understand just being in proximity to certain things allows you to experience that level of depth as well, if you're worthy to stay in that frequency. When we get granted certain opportunities to be around individuals, we have to really take it as, a benefit and a privilege, because not everybody has that. And, just the fact that you were granted that proximity to somebody lets you know that it is within sight of you to also achieve or do certain things, right? So if your partner isn't embedding that type of headspace around being someone like you, a high frequency, a boss individual, they're going to become insecure. They're going to start putting you in spaces where it hinders your performance, right? Next thing you know, you're sad. Next thing you know, you don't believe in yourself as much. Next thing you know, you have all these mental adversities and things getting in the way, not realizing that it was the woman and or dude that was sitting there causing all of that mental disruption. They were getting into your psyche. And the moment that they're into your psyche, they start causing certain levels of self-doubt. They start causing procrastination. They start causing misalignment. They start causing you to do a lot of introspection work on purpose because they didn't like the confidence. Going into introspection removes a certain level of confidence from you, right? Not internally, but externally. They don't like you being externally confident, right? But when you go when you start looking within, you become internally attractive. And that's what helps us pull these type of different things into us, right? So when somebody tries to, S-word on your external confidence, that's only because they don't feel that level of, security within themselves, and they want you to doubt yourself. They want you to have to pick up the journal. They want you to start healing. They want you to start second guessing your thoughts and, questioning what was real, what wasn't real, and all this other type of stuff. These type of things don't happen on accident. A lot of these things are not accidents. They're done very, very, very intentionally. And I hate to say this, people aren't stupid. A lot of times when people are treating you bad, they know they're treating you bad. When people are putting you in third-party situations, they know they're putting you in that situation. When people are literally making you feel less than who you truly are, they are doing it intentionally, and it's on purpose. Nobody's oblivious to their actions. Nobody. But they think that they're above the program. Once again, which is why I say when you interact with people who don't have their moral compass in line, it's going to cause problems for you, because their misalignment and their unease within them is going to come off on you. You are going to trigger them, which means that they are going to start acting in ways is that triggers you. They're triggering you because you're triggering them. So you're having all these instances where it's like, why are you acting like this? Why are you doing this? You know, like, I'm trying to love you. I'm trying to share resources with you. I'm trying to, you know, better the situation because I'm sitting at this high frequency and you're continuously, you know, hurting me. You're continuously saying things, doing things that's making me second guess myself. That is because the amount of love that you're showing is triggering them. When they're not used to that, right? When they're used to the chaos, or let's say that they don't believe that they can show that levels of love within themselves, to trying to mimic your energy, just by you showing more love is going to trigger them even more. That puts you in such an interesting predicament, I know, right? It makes you think, like, how does that make sense? I show you more love and you hate me more because of the love I'm showing. But that's actually not necessarily the case. They don't hate you, they hate the characteristic. And they don't hate the characteristic, they hate the fact that they don't embody it within themselves, right? So you have to be very careful with the people that you intertwine with and the people that you know, get into contact with, because not all of these people actually want your best interest. Some of these people just want your energy, and people who just want your energy is going to immediately become an energy drainage, and they're going to become, you know, a blockage in your life. They're going to stunt your growth because they do not want you to necessarily stay on that trajectory. So with that being said, I love you guys. I love you guys. I love you guys. I hope you guys are taking care of your mental health. Let go of all the baggage. Let go of all these people who don't love you and do not appreciate you and do not treat you right, so you can actually align with the people who do. Because I promise you, there is a point in time where you will align with somebody who actually sees what you have, and they will want to nurture it and cater to it. They're not going to want to tear it down. They're going to want to help you build the empire. So with that being said, I love you guys again. I'm going to see you guys in the next video. Message self-interest down in the description. Peace.